Well, shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. I'm going to do a video this morning on secrets of Torah from the Parsha today. But I do want to say, the reason I haven't been posting is I was banned again from YouTube. Who knew what I did wrong, truly, but two older videos. So the algorithms are changing. Either they're going deeper or something, and another latest one I did. So whatever, I'm going to do one now that they have a screen share. I have been reading a lot and I just can't get enough. Always, Ephraim or Christian, I say, it is always best to read the writings, to go into some of the deeper understandings that are in. I'm just trying to get up to speed here in the house of Judah. Okay. So on today's Parsha, which actually is called Bamidbar, I don't know how to really say it, Bamidbar, in the desert. See, one of the things is we are in the desert. Technically, that's one of the phrases used for life, or for spiritual journeys, wilderness journeys. But the other thing is, he does say to the faithful remnant, though, we always have sort of a different message. He does say that he can prepare a great feast for us at the end time on a high mountain with aged wine and choice meats and just unbelievable delicacies. And this is the point. They're there. They're just there for the taking. I hate to say it, but on Google, social media, hey, it is available to find all the information, I swear, that has ever been put out there by humanity. But the point is, it is getting really late in the game, and it is really hard to get the correct oil in your lamp now. Because even for this, I was going to find a quote here, which I have to put down in a little yellow there, quote from Elijah. I couldn't even find it online anymore. It had been totally scrubbed, and it was actually a couple of years ago pretty common amongst researchers and stuff to find it. But thankfully for hard copies. This is why they're saying it's time to keep your books. It's time to print stuff out, back up your YouTubes, your videos, whatever. Who knows? But knowledge has been lost many, many times. And this is the story of history, and then it gets found again. So now in today's parsha, which is from Numbers, actually Numbers 3, there's a quote here, and it says that, "Behold, I have taken the Levites from amongst the children of Israel, and the Levites shall be mine." This is where he has designated the Levites to function in the role of the firstborn, especially as in a spiritual priesthood sense. Now, this is a quote from Maimonides. I can never say his name. Maimonides. Okay. This is what he says. He's one of the most famous, you should read him, minds, especially Jewish medieval minds, on the Torah and on world events and how to view true reality. It is not only the tribe of Levi, but any man of all the inhabitants of the earth whose spirit has moved him and whose mind has given him to understand, to set himself aside, to stand before Yahweh, to serve him, to worship him, to know Yahweh and walk justly as God has created him. And he cast from his neck the yoke of many calculations that men seek, other isms. And this man has become sanctified, a holy of holies, and God shall be his portion and his lot forever, and shall merit him his needs in this world, as he has merited the Kohanim and the Levites. See, there's a similar promise that is coming through here, that if any man applies himself to wisdom, he can attain this high level of sanctification, and this becomes a holy of holies. I mean, that's saying something, seriously, because we are all individually, this is the point, in our highest, most inner sanctified state, a miniature holy of holies containing, right, an image of God. But this is the quote from Elijah, and it says that Elijah the prophet, who is Eliyahu ha-Navi, in the Hebrew transliteration, that is how he's known, taught his disciples that I call heaven and earth to bear witness that any person, Jew or Gentile, male or female, free man or slave, if his deeds are worthy, then Ruach HaKodesh will descend upon him. Now, this is recorded in the Tana de Be'eliyahu, chapter 6, note 18, and I went to try to find it. I really couldn't I didn't want to spend all day on it. But the point is, it is in there. You could find it in the Hebrew, but unfortunately, I couldn't confirm it by reading the Hebrew. I needed a transliteration. But this is a known Jewish understanding that a person will apply themselves. But this is the thing, this is the word, the flip side to Israel, to who is Christianity out there in the world. We don't understand that there's already a foundation. Paul told us a foundation that has been laid already. It's like, get on that foundation because that's the sure one, tested and tried. But so let's go on and give a few more of these quotes here. See, when like this is from a midrash. Now, when you understand how the writings are, and because the house of Judah was made the scribal house for all of 12 tribes. I bet you didn't know that, Christian. Their job is to keep all the writings, all the writings. That's why they got the whole Dead Sea Scrolls thing they found. You know, they were burying because they knew that the next they could see down the road and see it was going to be a very long Gentile occupation here. Okay. But let me read this quote. It comes from for Rav Hamat, son of Rabbi Hania, said, and they just keep a long list of all the rabbinic, all the minds that have contemplated at this level. Okay. When our father Jacob was about to depart from the world, he summoned his sons and blessed them and commanded them concerning the ways of Yahweh. And they acknowledged the divine sovereignty. Now, having concluded his address, he, and we're talking about Jacob, said to them, my children, when my briar, my funeral briar, is being carried, and this is interesting because Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun shall be on the east side. Reuben, Simeon, and Gad will be on the south. Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin will be on the west. And Dan, Asher, and Naphtali will be on the north. Now, you know, that's very easy because actually I just want to show you, because I had graphed that out, you know, making for the elect life, if you ever want to get really in-depth teachings with great graphics, had graphed that out one time myself from other writings. You can't really see it, but I had graphed it out and it came out exactly the same way. So this is a traditionally accurate line of the tribes, which makes from an aerial view, when you look at it, the way they're camped out and because of the numbers involved, it looks like a cross. Just an interesting side note. Now, it says in here that Joseph shall not carry it all, for he is king. Because I just want to say something, if you do the math, you always got to pay attention to the math in this stuff. It's a whole nother way of communicating truth. You got 3, 3, 3, and 3, which is 12, right? So we got 12 tribes. Okay, but here we have Joseph, because we got to factor this in because people count it up and there's really 13. But Joseph shall not carry at all a banner, for he is a king and must be shown due honor. So he is in a special category by himself. And this is the whole point why Joseph doesn't get the inheritance. He passes it on to the two boys because he himself is like an archetype of Yeshua. He gets exhumed sort of up into heaven, into this heavenly status. All right. He is Messiah ben Joseph. He is the archetype for the shepherd, Messiah ben Joseph, who goes and makes provision and finds his sheep. All right. It's a beautiful thing, but it's here in the writings. And this is what I'm saying. You can see confirmed in greater depth true theology, true understanding of how we look at these things. Okay. It says, neither shall Levi carry, because he will carry the ark. And he that is to carry the ark of him who is the life of all worlds must not carry the coffin of the dead. Okay, now this is also Joseph's, instructions about his bones. He wanted his bones. This is all highly significant spiritually taken out of Egypt when the children left, because he knew all this was coming down the pike and all this. And he said, I take my bones with me. It's very important. Do not leave them. Okay. And, there's a whole deep spiritual understanding that goes why that's true and was important. But the point is, he said that they would, whoever carries the ark, again, this concept that we are a mini ark, and Joseph was an archetype of the ark, of the Holy of Holies, see, in the ark, which is an archetype of the divine presence of Yahweh Elohim in each, he is the light of the world. So it's interesting how these allegorical metaphors confirm when you read deeper, and you can get greater understanding. Now, so if you will comply with these orders and carry my briar as I have commanded you, Yahweh will in the future cause you to camp beneath standard. Now, praise Adonai, because they did do that. They did get the bones of Joseph out and brought him up to, I think it's Mishpah, which is a place of the burial of the patriarchs. So, because we will, again, this is the regathering. This is what this Messiah ben Joseph is doing. He is regathering all of the exiles and bringing them together again and putting us, will ultimately put us beneath our tribal standards. It's very exciting. Now, here's some more from Midrash on this Parsha today, but it says, now, the thing to note and why this is important, these are the generations of Aaron and Moshe. I probably should have put this ahead, but it says, usually Moshe appears before Aaron in the scriptures, more often than not, but in certain places, Aaron is mentioned first. And this is to teach us that they were both of equal importance. See, what we just saw there, and let me just quickly go back in here, is the beginning of the threefold priest, the threefold Mashiach titles, the threefold cord that makes up the Mashiach totality, priest, king, and shepherd, prophet. So he is, but so here you have reference to shall not carry it all, because really Joseph got half the birthright and Judah got half the birthright. So this is a confirmation again, that because Joseph got the birthright handed down to him, he is a king. He's up there in the same category, but you have Joseph, you have king, and Levi, all three there. So it's important. Again, these are important nuanced distinctions to know about and always keep straight. So from the age of 20 and upward, all who are fit to serve in the army of Israel, you shall count them. This is from Numbers chapter 1, verse 30. But, it's kind of apropos today because this is a big buzzword, in the Lord's army, the Lord's mighty end time army. And, I've been hearing it all my life, as I'm sure you have. And I don't disagree per se. I do feel personally called for such a time as this. I see us generationally, if we don't rise up in such a time as this, all prophetic shit's going to break loose. I feel like we can do a certain amount of damage control. But this is like the Hebraic, thinking Hebraically is what I'm all about, because Yeshua was not a Christian rabbi. He was a Jewish rabbi. It's important. And where there's a difference, you should always err on the side of the Jewish rabbi understanding. Okay? Sorry. Now, from the age of 20 and upward, all who are fit to serve in the army of Israel, you shall count them. Now, Moses, whoopsie, where did I go too fast? Moses' census of the Jewish people defined as a count of all who are fit to serve in the army of Israel. So we're going to the criteria, included only those who were from the age of 20 and upwards. So the spiritually minded sage person would always ask the questions. You ask questions. Why is 20 significant? Why does it say from the age? Why doesn't it say age of 18? Why doesn't it say the age of 30? It says the age of 20. So let's see what it says. It says the 5th chapter of the Ethics of the Father includes an outline of the phases of a person's education in life. Now, this is what we need to pay attention to, because see, this is the point. There is a way. This is why the Jews, and we should learn from them. They have been very successful generationally. I know this is the last generation and everybody's gone to pot, but of passing on a very strong Torah foundation to their children. That's a fact, okay? The 5th chapter, okay, the ethics of the father, there's a whole, it's called the Drosh teaching. This is all the ethical and the moral, the teachings of the halakha, the understanding of the application of the law. So that's what's in the quote unquote, the ethics of the fathers. It's voluminous writings, and it is probably some of the highest commentary on law on the planet today, but it is. At 5 years of age, the study of scripture. So this is how they start the children out in yeshiva. Then the study of scripture. At 10, the study of the Mishnah, which I said is to have a deeper understanding of the scripture. You begin to see the remezes. They begin to teach you according to a process of biblical exegesis called PARD, which I teach, which is what I totally teach on. Okay. So then you go on to at 13, the obligation to observe the mitzvahs. You are accountable at 13. You're accountable for what you know. And if you know not to do wrong and you do it, you're accountable. At 15, you begin the study of the Talmud, which is again the deeper minds, the deeper understandings. And at 18, you begin your life. You begin a marriage. At 20, you begin the pursuit of a livelihood. Isn't that interesting? It's not the other way around. But I think they give them those 2 years of grace to live together as a couple. Isn't that amazing? Can you imagine? And all the, as opposed to all the stress young couples have today. Torah lifestyles will beat it out every time. But one attains strength, then at 30, one attains strength, and at 40, this is what I love. At 40, okay, let me get this right. At 30, one attains strength, yes. At 40, one attains understanding, which is Bina. And they never used to say, the rabbis, you cannot start studying the deeper mysteries of the Torah till you are at least 40, they would say. And you need to be married and have children and be stable and have proven character. Because you're dealing with the most sublime mysteries and secrets of God that have ever been imparted to any people group on the planet. They know this. They're highly respectful of the ones that get it, okay? We always know there's yahoos, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the true remnant, okay? So at understanding, which is at 40, but at 50, one can give counsel. See, and that follows the archetype too of Chokhmah, Bina, and Dot. Okay, but to give counsel means you really are a wise one now. You have done your homework. You have a breadth of the Torah now to be able to give sound judgment and sound counsel. That's a beautiful thing, and they hold them accountable to this. That's why I say some little upstart, just shouldn't become a superstar leader. Okay, character is formed through this process of the phases of life. I'm out here now. I'm going to be 70 soon, and I'm milking it. I am so excited. 70 is going to be my best year. 70 is a great number, and I'm very excited to be walking with this level, with a Bina level understanding. It's of 70 at 70. So, in other words, let's just recap this. I'm going to stop talking. The first 20 years of a person's life represent those periods and areas of his life in which he focuses almost exclusively on his individual growth, the acquisition of knowledge and wisdom. See, I'm not kidding. Get wisdom, get understanding. His moral and spiritual development, your character. Okay, those are, but 20 represents the point in which he ventures out to the world and begins to concern himself with the material involvements of life. So in other words, there's a point where that plant, kind of gets sturdy and strong and can start to bear fruit and bear new life and other responsibility. So I just love the way that there's such a deep wisdom. Okay, so it says therein lies the deeper significance of Yah's instructions to Moshe, that only from the age of 20 and upwards shall a person be counted as one fit to serve in the army of Israel. That's why Yeshua said to some, if you got to bury your dead, go back. If you got to go, if you're in your marriage nuptials, those Jews, you can't be part of this thing. People, we need to be honest, but we need those who think they're part of the army of Adonai in the last days. You better have that level of character, and you better have that level of biblical exegesis, because time is running out. Let me just read this last part. A period of intense self-development and spiritual self-enrichment is a necessary preparation to life. but it must not be seen as an end in itself. The purpose of the pre-20 times and aspects of a person's life is for the sake of the pursuit of what must follow. That's wisdom. Young man, prepare yourself. You know, spend those years. Traditionally, this was not riotous living in the street. I mean, the way, today it's just craziness, right? You wonder why our youth, we don't hold their feet to the fire. We don't allow them this ability to equip themselves with what they really need. Nothing political. I want no flagging on this video. So it says that he or she go out into the world and apply his personal attainments to the development and sanctification of the material reality. In other words, to make your life better, you got to be a better person. Better people make better worlds. Okay. One who does not graduate to the post-20 phase of life cannot count himself as a member of the army of Israel. I mean, that is some wisdom and truth, people. That is from the Lubavitch Rebbe, from the Hassad website. And I'm telling you right now, it is time. It's time to get oil in your lamp is running out. True chaos is coming. And I hope you will have taken advantage of this website, or my website, theelectlife.org, or this channel and these teachings. Get oil in your lamp while you can. Shalom, shalom.